Good morning. So there's something I want to say. Um, they won't let me donate money to food stamps, like the SNAP benefits, right? And they won't let me donate money to Medicaid, which I think it's crazy. It's something I've always wanted to do. Um, you, Let me explain a little. So when I was in high school, I don't know how y'all do things at your schools. Well, I wasn't in high school yet. I was in junior high, right? But when I was in junior high at my school, when you go get your lunch, right, you have to put in a lunch number, right? And depending on that lunch number, it tells the woman whether you have to pay or if you get free lunches, right? Well, I put in my lunch number. I got free and reduced lunches, right? Well, the table that I was sitting at, we sat down and one girl was like, T-Todd, I noticed you don't ever have to pay. She was like, I have to pay, Serena have to pay, we have to pay. Well, another girl on the other side of the table just bursts out and says, oh, he's poor. He gets free and reduced lunches. The rest of our parents have to pay, but he don't have to pay because he's poor. And then she goes on and says, yeah, he's probably on food stamps also. And fun fact, I was on food stamps, yes. So that hurt my feelings, right? I told myself, that's some bullshit. I'm not ever going to let somebody hold that over my head. And I told myself, if I ever make good money, I'll pay every dollar back to food stamps, right? Well, it didn't end there. Several years later, I would say when I was like a senior in high school, I was in the lunchroom again. Fun fact, how ironic. And I was sitting by the teacher's table. And they were talking about Medicaid. You can kind of tell where they stand because of how they were talking. Pretty much they were saying that they wish Medicaid would end. They're sick of their money going to Medicaid. They're sick of paying for people's kids on Medicaid. This was coming from the teacher's table. I was shocked and heartbroken. It's one thing coming from other students, right? Sure, ignore them. But adults, hearing adults talk about people on Medicaid, and there I was on Medicaid. Like 2 weeks before that, I had to go to the dentist, and I remember them asking my grandmother, like, what's his insurance? And she was like, Medicaid. So I knew I was on Medicaid, right? I knew I was on food stamps. And my whole life, people just have something to say about it, right? Long story short, here I am today. I've always had that on my mind. And I have tried to call the food stamp office, the SNAP benefits office, right? You can't donate money to a government organization. Same as Medicaid. Tried to call them, try to explain to them, like, hey, I just want to give the money back. All right. Because I'm not going to have anybody ever hold that over my head, I want to give the money back, right? Because I'm fine today. So I want to put the money back in the system to help other kids, I guess. Because to me, that makes more sense. I also feel like, that's kind of the whole point. If you're someone who needs help, with Medicaid food stamps, I think that's wonderful. I think that's okay. But I also think when you get back on your feet, and you are more than blessed, turn around and help others. See if you got the money to give back, right? Or at least that's what I want to do. And in reality, at the end of the day, none of this is really my fault, my responsibility. I should never feel bad as a child being on Medicaid or food stamps. No child should, But I just want to give the money back. But the reason why I'm making this video on TikTok is I have a question for the government. Can you allow citizens to donate money to Medicaid and food stamps? I know it sounds dumb, but there's people like me that it helped as a child, right? And as an adult who is blessed financially, you bet your ass I will help any and all children on food stamps and Medicaid. I think it would be wonderful. There's a lot of people that's like, oh, taxpayers' dollars is paying for it. Sweetie, if I had the money, I'll pay for every child so your taxpayers don't have to.